make cannabis more legally available to everyone. And that's something that obviously is important to people here. And I guess the main focus that I'm going to talk about today is the medicinal uses of cannabis and what is happening on the ground in Canada to make cannabis more accessible, and more importantly, what is happening to fight the new regulations that our federal government is bringing in that is going to severely harm patients now and into the future, which I think is why this issue should be really important to anyone that understands the medicinal uses of cannabis and that can appreciate that, you know, while they may be healthy now, at some point in the future, that health might not be there. And when I became an activist 18 years ago, I realized that it was not fair to leave it to patients to fight for their rights. Patients are dealing with a lot more than legal issues. A person diagnosed with cancer has a lot to deal with upon that diagnosis, to understand what is going on, to fight the cancer, and to be able to keep their lives moving ahead. And so to have someone with cancer have to also learn about cannabis, how to grow it, how to use it properly, it's very difficult to do, which is why it's so important for advocates, healthy advocates, to be involved in the medicinal distribution of cannabis. And so I'm going to talk about sort of the three things, or the three areas of cannabis that are important to me: hemp, medical marijuana, and the recreational use. But again, the focus will be on the medicinal. And I'm going to start talking a little bit about where I'm coming from to qualify myself, I guess. I started as an activist with Hempology 101, I guess 18 years ago. And I started a group in Victoria, Hempology 101, to educate the public about cannabis and began meeting sick people. And so the first group of people that I really got to understand was people living with AIDS. Because when you're dealing with AIDS, especially in the 90s, when there's literally no medications for it, the drug concoctions they were giving people often made them die earlier, not prolonging their life. The first people I met smoked cannabis instead of the other medications, and they were doing okay, they were surviving. But the people that were doing well, despite having been diagnosed with AIDS, were those that were eating cannabis. And I didn't understand why, at the time, that would be so beneficial. I just accepted that people with AIDS or cancer or other very serious medical problems, smoking it would help maintain things, but eating it would help them put on weight, it would help them sleep and eat, and their whole life at times would turn around upon eating and ingesting the cannabis. And in the 1990s, we didn't understand much about the endocannabinoid system. In fact, it hadn't really been discovered yet. But we've come to understand now that the chemicals in the cannabis plant have, as you've heard from many doctors here, a number of very important medical applications. And those medical applications are, in fact, more pronounced. They last longer, and sometimes, while they don't have the acute effect of smoking, the implications of eating cannabis for medical problems can really have a much greater effect on people. And so, especially if they eat it morning, noon, and afternoon, because the peak effect from eating is 4 to 6 hours. And so when you consume cannabis, it's not just killing the pain, it's not just relieving the inflammation or relaxing your muscles, it's an antioxidant, it's anti-carcinogenic, it's antifungal, anti-inflammatory, sorry I said that. It's got a number of medical properties, most of which you're not even aware of. Most of the things cannabis is doing for you are happening in the body, and you're not even conscious of that. The antibiotic properties are a perfect example of that. And so when I started the Cannabis Buyers Club now over 17 years ago, we went out of our way to develop food and skin products that would give people the healthier alternative to smoking. And so we've now, after that 17 years, when a person comes to our club that already smokes cannabis for their medical problems, we turn them on to our food and skin products and say, if you start eating this medicine, you'll smoke less, you'll feel better, you'll use less prescription drugs, and you'll be saving money. And so for people that aren't used to smoking it, usually eating cannabis is as simple as it is with other plants. There's, for example, in the raw plant itself, you have THC acid. It's not THC itself. You need to convert the acid into THC by heat, which is why you do a process called decarboxylating in the kitchen. And so if you want any of these recipes, by the way, they're on the webpage for the Victoria Cannabis Buyers Club. So there's recipes and some videos about how to do all this. But once you've decarboxylated the THC acid over to THC, then it's a lot more powerful, it's a lot more potent. And you would normally cook it in an oven for half an hour at 300 degrees to make that conversion. But once you've done that, then you'd extract it into butter or olive oil. And I will say that recently some science has come out confirming that in fact olive oils and butters are not only as efficient at extracting cannabinoids as butane and naphtha and ethanol and other sort of alcohol products, but the terpenes and flavonoids, the essential oils of cannabis, which have a very pronounced medical benefit that we really don't understand because there's so many of them and they change even, like as the plant is cut down, those flavonoids and terpenes, they're still maturing. 18 days after harvest is actually the most potent time for the plant because of the terpenes and the flavonoids, much like a fine wine. It needs to mature and age. And so the terpenes and the flavonoids, when you use butanes or what's known as the Rick Simpson oil, those are included at all. They're not extracted. They're cooked off. And they're very beneficial, very important components of the cannabis plant. And one of the other important reasons to use olive oil or extracts or even glycerin if you're wanting to smoke it somehow, and not these other butane or naphtha, is because of the chemical residue that's left over in these other forms of oils. There is now science that has proven these chemical residues are unhealthy and unnecessary. There's healthier ways to consume it. The only difference is between these extracts, instead of using a drop, you'd use a spoonful of olive oil or butter again to get the same medicinal effects and more. And so I'm really happy to know that after my 17 years of work, I'm being affirmed in the laboratory that using olive oil and grapeseed oil and coconut oil is a new one we're looking at as a very healthy alternative to these other, even butter isn't that great compared to coconut oil apparently. Anyhow, we've got 30 food and skin products we've gone out of our way to develop at the Cannabis Buyers Club because it is incredible medicine when you eat it. I can't say enough about how important that is. And so we've, at the same time, the Cannabis Buyers Club has evolved quite a bit. We've now got a storefront. Again, I started 17 years ago. I lived in a van, I got a pager and a pamphlet, just started helping sick people every day. And eventually got an apartment and then a storefront 12 years ago. And we got raided in the store back in 2002, 2003, 4 raids. We beat every single charge that was laid against us. But we learned about problems within the medical marijuana access regulations in regards to these derivatives in those trials. That's very important to today. In one of those trials, I was acquitted of trafficking cannabis marijuana. They dropped those charges right away, but they proceeded to convict me of selling cannabis resin in the food and the skin products. And in the MMAR, patients are allowed dried marijuana, but they're not allowed to make extractions out of that. The government says explicitly to them that making hash or honey oil is illegal, but they leave it quite vague as to how patients are able to consume it orally, even though there's a box on the forms. It's for doctors that they can tick off that says the patient's using it orally. The government doesn't explain to patients that if they do take that leaf material, cook it into a butter, and extract it with a cheesecloth, they've actually produced a drug. The butter that's left over has THC in it, or they could, as they did in the first case, call it cannabis resin. They could actually also charge you with CBD. CBD is a separately listed drug in the Controlled Drugs and Substances Act. But in my first case, they charged us with, charged me with trafficking in cannabis resin, again for the food and skin products. And I'm very glad to know John Conroy, a lawyer in the room, who will be speaking later, because John on through the watermelon decision, learned about some of the problems with testing cannabis resin in the laboratory and proving that it's cannabis resin that's in cookies and stuff. And met Dr. Pate through that trial as well. And Dr. Pate's expert witness who was able to convince the judge in Watermelon's case that the tests for cannabis resin are inadequate in the case of cookies. And so we used John's case with Watermelon in court, but we failed. The judge convicted me of selling cannabis resin in the cookies and in the skin products. And I was so mad at my lawyer, and I wrote the appeal myself. And when I filed in the factum, the Crown agreed that I should get at least a new trial. And that with that, then they decided not to have any trial at all, just let the charges be dropped. Well, I got in front of the Court of Appeal, and I said, look, I want to follow through on this trial. You can't just have these charges dropped. This matter is very important. We need to resolve this issue. Patients need access to these extracts, and this needs to be dealt with in the court of law. Well, they just said, look, the federal government doesn't want to proceed. The charges have been dropped against you. You know, the matter's over with. There's nothing you can do. And I said, look, we're going to be back again. I'm going to be taking this on in court because this is not resolved yet. And so about 3 years ago, my bakery got raided. My friend Owen Smith was charged with trafficking THC for making the food and skin products in the Buyers Club. And even when the raid was going on, not only did we know this was going to be an important case, but the arresting police officers who actually support my work quite a bit knew that this was a very important case for our club and for the country, because it's really what some judges have called a lacuna, a gaping hole in the government's programs here that needs to be resolved. And so last year, we got before Supreme Court BC Justice Johnson, and it was called a voir dire, which is kind of a trial within a trial. Justice Johnson agreed with us that the medical marijuana access regulations were unconstitutional because they did not provide access to derivatives. In the trial, we had Dr. Pate testify, who I mentioned earlier. Dr. Pate is brilliant in court. He knows his plant exceptionally well, more than most in the field. He helped, for example, JW Pharmaceuticals develop the strains that they use for their Sativix product. He's been so involved in science and research that in Health Canada's own documentation, he's cited so often he could be their expert witness. So they really couldn't contest his knowledge because they would in essence be contesting their own sources of information if they did so. So we had an incredible expert witness who not only described to the judge how THC was formed, you know, in the plant itself and what the purposes of THC were, but how when the resin gland is dried and breaks off, that then becomes cannabis resin, or in this case, you know, THC, and then it is somehow an illegal product. He compared it to making maple leaves illegal if they've fallen off the tree. That you could have, you know, somehow a law that would make maple syrup illegal if maple trees were allowed to be grown. That was sort of the analogy, because allowing patients to grow their own medicine, but not make any of these derivatives, to restrict patients to the plant material and consuming it, because that's what the Crown said, is that patients can eat as much of it as they want, they just can't extract it. Well, that's not the best use of this plant. One of the best things that cannabis is good for is the fiber, right? Like, I'm wearing all hemp clothing today, I think. Yeah, socks, underwear, shoes, the whole 9 yards. Hemp fiber is one of the strongest fibers that is out there. There's a few that are stronger, but they don't produce as well in the field. They can't be grown everywhere. They're not as fast of a biomass producer. And so hemp as a fiber is just an incredible product, and it's one of the strongest that we have, which is why, for example, if we make paper out of it, it can last for so long, much longer than wood pulp, for example. But if you've got a gastrointestinal problem, eating a lot of hemp fiber might not be the best thing for you. Even for a healthy person, eating a lot of hemp fiber can make you regular, I guess is the polite way of saying it, but it really flushes your system out. And so extracting that fiber out is really important. But you don't really want to take much more of than that. Honestly, the cannabis plant is just so chock full of good medicines. The chlorophyll is good medicine. Everything about the cannabis plant is really good for you. Which is why, again, you don't want to extract it down to a drug if you're trying to get it into you. You want as much of that whole plant medicine as possible. And so it's something that in the court case here, that the judge recognized that it was ridiculous, again, to force patients to eat the whole plant and not make these types of extractions. But he also realized that caregivers needed to be able to make those products as well, that patients shouldn't be forced or counted upon to make their own medicine. A lot of these people we're talking about are sick and dying. They're in hospitals, they're in severe pain. They can't be relied upon. Even in some cases, they don't have the physical means to do it. They don't have the financial means to buy the equipment or to have even a kitchen in some cases. Though the courts don't consider finances really much of a matter, but they would consider the physical inability of a lot of patients to be of a concern. And so the judge realized that not only should patients be allowed to make these medicines, but caregivers should be allowed to make and sell it to them. And so when the decision first came down last year, the judge actually, though, gave Health Canada a year to come up with some new regulations that would assist in the sale of cannabis derivatives. Because when the decision came down, ironically, April 13th, Friday the 13th last year, the Crown stood up and said, look, Judge, you just made it legal for patients to make these derivatives, but now you've got this open market for designated growers to make whatever extracts they want. Give us a year to come up with some regulations, something that can help us, manage this new marketplace that you've just opened up. So the judge granted them that year. But instead of changing the regulations, instead of considering this matter at all, Health Canada's gone and completely scrapped the MMAR. The MMAR is now no longer going to exist. Now we're talking about the marijuana for medical purposes regulations. They're taking away patients' rights to grow their own marijuana, and they're not including derivatives in the program either. Commercial producers are going to be able to get licenses, but they're going to have to sell it in a mail order program. There's not going to be a storefront as dispensaries exist now. And again, derivatives are not to be included. In fact, in the new regulations, Health Canada cites a whole bunch of court cases that they considered because they admit that the courts have struck down the regulations time and time again as being unconstitutional. But our case, the Smith trial, is not included in that. They're pretending it doesn't even exist. And they've written the regulations to say that, while licensed producers can't make derivatives, patients can do whatever they want when they get it at home. Well, that's not fair. That's not good enough. And I don't think the courts will stand up for it. Unfortunately, though, it may take a whole new trial because we were arrested under the MMAR, that is Owen was, and now there's these whole new regulations coming up. So when we go before the Court of Appeal this October, we're really hoping that the new MMPR will be looked at by the Court of Appeal so that when they write a remedy, they will be able to instruct the government to include these derivatives, hopefully in firm enough language that the government can't ignore it. But that's something the government does a lot. So we really want to go to the Supreme Court of Canada. But that hasn't happened yet, because usually when the government loses at the Court of Appeal level, like in the Parker decision, the Hitzig decision, they stop there. They try and make some amendments to the program, usually the bare minimum requirements to even try and meet the court standards. In some cases, they haven't even done that, though. But we unfortunately expect there to be a number of cases, but we would really like this one to go to the Supreme Court and come up with a binding decision on all the legislation, not just the older legislation, but the up-and-coming stuff. And this up-and-coming legislation is very, very threatening to patients. I can't say enough about how many lives are being threatened by this change in programs by our federal government. There are about 30,000 patients with licenses to possess cannabis in Canada right now. I believe there's well over 20,000. 70% of those have got licenses to grow. So that's like 21,000 or so, either themselves or a designated grower. A lot of those patients are growing for themselves, complying with the regulations entirely. These regulations are really being scrapped because a minority of people that are taking advantage of them. most people that have these licenses, they own their own homes, they built a facility that can supply them with inexpensive, high-quality medicine. They've got off their prescription drugs. They've improved their lives in many ways by having all the access that they need to cannabis. And that's going to be cut off. This new system is going to not only take away their right to grow, but these new commercial producers are going to be charging a lot more money than not only the government has, but the dispensaries charge, or what is available on the street as well. We're talking about, I think, very expensive cannabis that's going to be sold through these licensed producers. And for people that are used to using, 5 or 10 grams a day, especially people on limited incomes, it's just completely unrealistic to think that they'll be able to use the same amount of cannabis. And that's going to, literally threaten lives. I read a letter yesterday from a young lady's doctor who said, look, this girl is going to be suffering life-threatening seizures as a result of this change in program. Because she's losing access to the cannabis. Like, it really is threatening people's lives, taking away their medicine. And it's threatening all of our lives. Like I said earlier, if you're healthy now, hopefully you'll live long enough that you'll have some kind of chronic medical issue, and you may be dependent on it too. So if we lose our right to grow now, and it stays that way, we all lose our right to grow this medicine. And that's something that we need to fight in every way possible. And so that's something that people are doing. And so there's a coalition down there at the back, the BC Coalition to Repeal, or something like that. John Conroy will be speaking about it a lot this afternoon. He's leading a class action lawsuit for patients. You don't have to pay the money. You can file your affidavit. Get your friends, your family, your co-workers to file affidavits on your behalf or their behalf. But we need as many letters to come into this coalition, but they also need money. They're filing a class action lawsuit and trying to file an injunction. Court and these proceedings are not inexpensive at all. They're hiring lawyers that are specialists in Ottawa. They've raised over $25,000 now, but the goal is $100,000 to be able to take this case on. And so we're really hoping that the patients out there, really that seems like a lot. 30,000 patients, that's $3 a patient. Like if they all pitch in, we're not talking huge numbers. Sure, it'd be nice if everybody could pitch in 50 or $100 and as a license. You'd think they could do that, but not all of them can. A lot of these people are very sick, and it's down to medicine or food for them. So lawyers aren't something they can afford, which is why it's important for others to help pitch in too. But court isn't the only thing that we can do. We can raise awareness about this. Certainly court really is left to a few that can do anything, the lawyers and such. But what we can do in the streets is raise awareness in our communities about this program, the changes that are about to occur, and how devastating it's going to be on patients' lives. And so I've do a few things with Hempology. I'm really not going to talk about all my different work. I want to talk about all the stuff I do. I got a booth over here, and I'll be here all day. But I publish a newspaper, the Cannabis Digest. It's primarily geared for medical marijuana patients to keep them up on law, politics, and what's happening. And the next issue that's coming out in 2 weeks is going to have a poster. It's going to be our second national protest that we're organizing against these new regulations. We organized them in February. We had over 100 offices, member of parliament offices across Canada that people protested at. Sometimes there's only 1 or 2 of them, but they got in there, they met the staff. In a lot of cases, actually, the times there were just 1 or 2 people in there, they really got to interact with the staff quite a bit. A number of people got to actually meet the member of parliament that day. A few of them actually, I think it was Burlington, Alison Vernon, actually got a pot plant into her MP office. There's a funny picture of her MP with the plant in his hands. But that was in February. The second round here, October 1st, is the next rally. And I got posters here. If you want to put up a poster somewhere, please. We need as many people across Canada to get out on October 1st. That's the day they stop issuing licenses to grow for patients. And so we want to get out on the streets across Canada, again, raising awareness on a very local level, getting people out with signs and banners, writing letters to their local media, and that's something that everybody in Canada can get involved in. Even if you can't make it out, you can do something to help get the word out about the day, writing letters or calling into the media to get the word out. And then the final and third rally is going to be April 1st of next year. Ironically, April Fool's Day is the first day of these new medical marijuana regulations. And so we want to not only organize rallies across Canada and MP offices, kind of one final stab at it, but we're also going to be organizing one big rally in Ottawa to really make the message clear to these politicians how devastating these changes are. And while we don't imagine changing the Conservative government's mind, these are very nasty people. They do not care about individuals and their rights. Certainly cannabis users are a target to them. But what we do need to do is reach out to the next generation of politicians. We need to reach out to the NDP, the Liberals, the Green Party, even the next wave of Conservatives. There's a new generation of young Conservatives that realize that this is a waste of time and energy that they don't need. And so these rallies are not only an attempt to reach out to the community, but an attempt to help build a coalition and energy towards the next federal election so that we can get rid of these Conservatives and hopefully get a coalition government or some kind of government that will quickly and pass laws, if not legalizing cannabis, at least decriminalizing it. And we need to do everything we can to work towards that and not just wait till the next election and then wonder why this isn't an issue. We need to make this an issue before the next election. And another important thing you can do to help towards that is a Sensible BC campaign. If you're here in BC or not, this is the one chance that we have, a hands-on opportunity to make a difference. If we collect all these signatures, we've won. We will win the vote, but it's going to take a lot of work to get these 400, 500,000 signatures across the entire province. So this fall, we have the means, the motive, and the opportunity. If we fail, it doesn't mean that the changes will happen anymore, but it means that we've lost the best chance we've had in really a generation to make a massive step forward. So I really hope that people put their support into the Sensible BC campaign. And one of the other things that you can do every single day for cannabis, every single day for yourself, and a lot of the speakers this weekend have touched on it, is eat hemp. Eat as much hemp as you can. Eat it morning, noon, and afternoon. For yourself, it's the healthiest thing that you can possibly do. You want to live longer, you want to be more active, have more energy, eat more hemp. It's the most amazing food out there. You don't even have to eat as much food if you eat hemp. It's not only good for maintaining your nutrition, but it's also good for putting on muscle mass. You can just eat hemp and go to the gym once in a while, and you're going to maintain your muscles way better than you ever will eating all the other crappy fats and stuff that are in the other meats and even other protein sources like soya. It's the best food energy on the planet. And by eating cannabis, you're not only supporting the cannabis industry, but you're undermining all the fear, all the propaganda that has been put out for decades about why cannabis isn't good, why cannabis isn't healthy, why cannabis isn't the best. So I'm telling you right now, cannabis is the best possible renewable resource on this planet. We should be using it every day for our food, our fuel, our fibers. Our buildings should be made out of it. Everything on this planet that we consume can be in some way tied into hemp. And that's a reality. I know a lot of people that don't use it think we're total nuts for saying that. But if you look at it, the plastics, again, it doesn't replace absolutely everything, but we can include it in so much. We need to turn our planet around, to turn our societies around. We need to embrace this plant. I firmly and fully believe that. That's why 18 years ago I set out to write the history of cannabis, and I'm so proud to have Hempology 101, the history and uses of cannabis sativa out there. It's the most comprehensive book on this incredibly valuable plant. If you believe in it nearly as much as I do, but want to learn more about it, it's just $20, and otherwise it's available online. I got a lot of free newspapers, Cannabis Digest. I really don't want to go home with any, so if you want to take a small stack to somewhere, please do so. And otherwise, I would just really like to thank Sandy and Ramo and Mark and all the other people that put their heart and soul into this. It's been an incredible met so many wonderful people, and I really hope that you guys all get a chance to thank them yourself, because they're amazing people. They've done an amazing job here, and they don't deserve all the shit that they've been putting up with this weekend. So if you can give them a hug, please do so. And otherwise, I'd just like to thank you all for coming and listening and just being here at this amazing event. Hope you all have a great and happy day and a great Cannabis Day tomorrow as well. Thanks again, and smoke if you got it.
Great on. Thanks, hon.